1. Standing up from the floor without using hands. This might sound easy, almost too simple to matter, but it's one of the most telling indicators of how well the body is really functioning. When someone can stand up from the floor without pushing off with their hands, what they're actually demonstrating is a complex, coordinated movement involving the entire body. Legs, core, hips, back, everything working together like a well-oiled machine. And it goes deeper than muscle. This movement is a reflection of balance, flexibility, and even neurological health. If one part of that chain breaks down, tight hips, weak core, unstable knees, the movement falls apart. Research backs this up too. In a long-term study, those who couldn't get up from the floor without support were 5 to 6 times more likely to die within the next 6 years. That's not just coincidence, that's the body sounding the alarm. The good news, this ability is 100% trainable. It's not about perfection, it's about practice. Repeated, focused effort, training the nervous system, strengthening the legs, building the kind of control that doesn't fade with age, unless it's ignored. So here's something to think about. If there was an emergency and the only way to call for help was to get up off the floor, could that be done without using your hands? If the answer isn't yes right now, then it's time to reclaim that ability. Because the floor isn't the enemy, it's the proving ground. And training doesn't require expensive equipment or fancy programs. Just start with lowering to the ground and rising back up, slowly, using the legs and core. Even doing it a few times a day builds the strength and coordination needed. Small improvements stack up fast, and they mean a safer, more independent future. Every successful repetition is like casting a vote for resilience. And over time, that vote turns into a lifestyle. It's not about staying young, it's about staying capable. Because the moment the body stops being challenged, it starts forgetting what it can do. And no one wants to be in a position where they realize too late that something as simple as standing up has become impossible. 2. Walking briskly for 30 minutes without stopping. Walking sounds so ordinary, but walking briskly, with purpose for 30 minutes straight, that's a different story. That's endurance. That's cardiovascular health. That's the nervous system, the lungs, the muscles, the joints, all cooperating in rhythm. And yet for many over 70, it becomes rare. The pace slows, the steps shorten, the confidence disappears, and slowly the world starts to shrink. Why is this such a big deal? Because walking briskly taps into almost every critical system in the body. It sharpens cognitive function, boosts mood, improves circulation, and even reduces the risk of Alzheimer's and heart disease. It's not just about getting from point A to point B, it's about telling the body, I'm still moving, I'm still alive. A brisk walk, done daily, acts like a reset button for the entire system. And unlike more complex workouts, it's low risk, low barrier, and high reward. But here's the catch. It feels easy until it becomes difficult. And by the time walking for half an hour feels like a struggle, much of the damage has already been done. So here's a question worth asking. If 30 minutes of walking were the ticket to a longer, sharper life, would it be part of the daily routine? Now think about this. Walking is also about connection. It gets people out of the house, into the world, and engaged with their surroundings. It strengthens not just the body, but the sense of freedom and autonomy. Miss a few days? It happens. But let that slip into weeks or months, and re-establishing the habit becomes a mountain instead of a molehill. Brisk walking also improves joint mobility and posture, making other movements easier and safer. It can be social too. Walking with a friend or a pet adds motivation and makes it more enjoyable. And the best part? There's no age limit on taking that first step. Whether 40 or 80, walking is always ready to welcome you back. 3. Lifting 20 pounds without strain. 20 pounds doesn't sound like much until that weight represents a bag of groceries, a small suitcase, a toddler, or even just the strength to catch yourself during a fall. Losing the ability to lift something that light may seem subtle, but it marks the beginning of dependency. When strength fades, everyday life gets smaller. Tasks that once felt routine suddenly require help. That bag of dog food becomes a challenge. The laundry basket starts feeling like a burden. And it all traces back to one thing: muscle loss. Starting in the 30s, the body naturally begins to lose muscle, unless it's deliberately maintained. By 70, those who haven't trained for strength may have lost up to half of their muscle mass. That's not just a number, that's a direct hit to independence. Here's the upside: strength can be rebuilt. Even in the later years, the body still responds to resistance, muscles still adapt, and strength still grows. It just needs the stimulus. It doesn't take hours in the gym. It takes consistency. It takes movement. It takes being willing to challenge the body before life forces the issue. And here's something worth reflecting on. If the body can't lift 20 pounds today, what happens in an emergency or in a moment where independence is on the line? That's not fear. That's foresight. Muscle isn't just for motion, it's metabolic. It supports bones, regulates blood sugar, protects joints, and even helps the immune system. People who maintain muscle age better in every category: mobility, balance, energy, and even memory. Strength also builds confidence. There's a shift in mindset that happens when the body feels capable again. It's easier to say yes to social events, to travel, to do things solo, because there's trust in the body again. And with that confidence comes dignity. Because relying on others for every lift, every chore, every small thing, that chips away at independence faster than age ever could. Building strength is about more than muscles. It's about staying in the driver's seat of your own life. Fourth, balancing on one foot for 10 seconds. At first glance, this one might get a chuckle. Stand on one foot for 10 seconds? That's it? Try it. What seems laughably easy can become surprisingly difficult and incredibly revealing. Balance isn't just about the legs, it's about the inner ear, the eyes, the brain, the nervous system, and the feedback loop between all of them. It's a total body neurological challenge, and it's one of the clearest early signs of instability in the aging body, because loss of balance often leads to falls. And falls, especially past 70, are the leading cause of injury, hospitalizations, and even death. But balance doesn't suddenly vanish. It fades slowly as small declines in stability go unnoticed. First, it's a slight hesitation stepping off the curb, then holding the handrail more tightly, then avoiding uneven ground altogether. Here's the good news. Balance, like strength, is trainable. Small daily challenges can wake those systems up. Standing on one foot while brushing teeth, walking a straight line, moving on uneven ground with intention. All of it contributes to more control, because balance isn't just physical. It's about control under pressure. It's about confidence. And maybe the most important question is this: when was the last time the body was truly tested for balance? Not just casually, but deliberately. Balance also plays a massive role in how the body reacts to sudden changes. A missed step, a quick turn, a shifting surface. Those who train it respond faster, recover quicker, and prevent what could otherwise be serious injuries. It sharpens focus and reconnects the brain with the body in a meaningful way. The ability to balance well into older age signals more than physical fitness. It reflects neurological sharpness and independence. And the training doesn't have to be complicated. Even short, consistent efforts, like shifting weight from one leg to the other or standing barefoot on different textures, create results. It also improves posture, which supports breathing, digestion, and energy levels throughout the day. Every second of balance is like a vote for longevity. And when practiced regularly, those seconds add up to years of safer, more confident movement. Because being steady on your feet means being steady in your life. And that's something worth standing up for. 5. Waking up with a reason to live. This one doesn't involve muscle, coordination, or stamina, but it might be the most important of all. Because purpose is what makes all the other things matter. Those who wake up with something to do, someone to serve, or a reason to keep going tend to live longer, happier, and healthier lives. And it's not theory, it's backed by science. Purpose lowers the risk of depression, heart disease, stroke, and even Alzheimer's. It improves sleep, speeds recovery, and encourages healthy behaviors. Purpose doesn't have to be loud or grand. It could be a pet, a garden, a grandchild, a story that still needs to be told, a community that still needs support. Without purpose, even the strongest body can feel empty. With it, Even struggles feel worth enduring. And here's a question with real weight. What's the reason to get up tomorrow, even when the joints ache and the world feels heavy? That answer is deeply personal, but it's also one of the most powerful medicines in the world. Purpose brings clarity. It provides structure to the day. It makes decisions easier, like choosing to exercise, eat well, or connect with others. Because when there's something to show up for, showing up gets easier. Studies show that seniors with a strong sense of purpose are more active, more socially engaged, and even more resilient in the face of illness or injury. It gives aging a sense of direction rather than just a sense of decline. And purpose can evolve. What mattered at 40 might shift by 70, and that's okay. What matters is that it's meaningful, that it belongs to the individual, not someone else's idea of what purpose should look like. It could be mentoring, creating art, telling family stories that otherwise fade. Even the act of simply being present for someone else can be a purpose in itself. Because when there's a reason to keep going, the heart beats stronger, the mind stays sharper, and every day becomes a day that matters, not just one more on the calendar, but one more that counts. These 5 things aren't complicated, they're not out of reach, but they are disappearing from the lives of most seniors, not because of age, but because of neglect. Standing up from the floor, walking with purpose, lifting everyday weight, holding balance, holding on to purpose. These aren't extreme achievements. They're the foundation of independence. Together, they draw the line between aging and thriving, between slowing down and staying strong, between slipping away and stepping forward. Only 5% of people over the age of 70 can still do all 5. The rest? They lose them gradually, almost unknowingly, until independence fades into dependence and freedom becomes a memory. But it doesn't have to be that way. The body can adapt. The brain can learn, muscles can grow, purpose can return, and it all starts with a simple but powerful choice, the decision to take responsibility, starting today. If this message resonates, don't let it stop at awareness. Start training for these 5. Reclaim the ones that slipped. Build the habits that keep you strong, stable, and self-sufficient, well beyond 70. Like, share, and subscribe for more empowering content on longevity, strength, and real tools for aging well. And remember, every day is a chance to be part of that 5%. Don't waste it.